Well, I'm sitting inside of my clamshell screen tent, enjoying my first morning at my campsite. I arrived yesterday afternoon and I really am enjoying myself already. Now, I would say that I've already discovered that there's victories and there's challenges with camping, at least for me, anyways. And it's similar to life where you have joy and you have pain. And you just have to get through those harder moments and persevere and have determination. And so that's what I am trying to do here. If you're new to my channel, my name is Victoria, and I am attempting to live my dream of getting out on the road full time. I've watched tons and tons of YouTube videos over the years, and I've been dreaming of this for at least a decade. And I finally bought myself a teardrop trailer, and I'm testing it out, taking it out, seeing if I can do it full time. And I am on my first camping trip, like I said, and let me tell you how it's gone so far. So yesterday I arrived at my trailer with some trepidation, to be honest. I'm going to be real here because I don't want to sugarcoat things. I just want to be honest. Um, because I had trepidation because I have only hooked up the trailer once, and the place where I'm storing the trailer has very rocky ground, and I wasn't sure if I could move the trailer around to get it up to the car. And sure enough, that was the case. When I got there, I could not move the trailer around very far. So I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm going to have to get the car to the trailer. That's going to be a challenge as a solo person with nobody to guide me. And so it took me several tries, to be honest, because I'm new at this, of course, mind you. And I was able to eventually do it. I just took my time and I figured out a way that I could do it that would work. And it built my confidence that, okay, if you can't move the trailer around, you're going to be able to get the car up to the trailer pretty much. So I know that with practice, that will get easier and easier for me. So that was a really great thing. And that's a victory, right? To feel some trepidation about something, and then you do it and you like, okay, good, I have some confidence now that I'm going to be able to do this. So I just love that feeling. I had a bit of a challenge though, in that I had to take up the tent stakes because I had a tarp on my trailer, and so I had to take up the tent stakes, and the ground had gotten really dry and hard and I couldn't get them out, and I had driven them too deep, so it was really a challenge. And I'm pulling and I'm pulling, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to get these out. Oh God, what am I going to do? And so then I get my tent stake puller, and I'm using that, and the darn thing, that the little hook, metal hook, broke right off, and I fell back on my butt. And I'm like, okay, just take a moment here, just relax, don't let this upset you too much. And I got some water and I poured it on the around the tent stakes, and then waited a few minutes, and then I was able to go back and get the tent stakes out. So that showed me that I probably need to buy a better tent stake puller for that dry, hard ground. So I'm learning as I go, right? I'm not I'm not an experienced camper. I can count probably on two hands how many times I've camped in my entire life. So there will be a learning curve here, and I will learn as I go, and that's okay. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to press on and just have confidence. Okay, this is difficult, but I can get through it. I can do it, and I can get through the hard things. And that's been kind of the case in the last 24 hours. I've had some victories and I've had some challenges for sure. But I got the car hooked up, and I'm like, okay, so now you're going to drive 2 hours to your campsite. And so that all went great. And I got to the tent site, the campground, and really beautiful here. Got to pull through sight to make it easy on myself for this first time until I get good at backing up the trailer. And I'm breaking my tent out and my stuff out and stuff. And this young guy pulls up in his truck and he's like, "Oh, I love your trailer." And I says, "Thank you. This is my first camping trip." And we started chatting. And so I'm trying to set up the solar panel, and he's like, "Oh, can I help you with the solar panel? Do you want me to put that up on your roof?" And I'm like, "No, that's okay. I've got it. I've got it." And we chat a little bit more, and he says, "Oh, can I help you unhook the trailer?" And I'm like, "No, I think I've got to learn this. This is how I learn, is by doing." And so I said, "Thank you, but no thank you." He's like, "Okay, okay. Well, do you want me to stay and watch you to make sure you can do it okay?" And I'm like, "No, that's okay. I think it would make me nervous having somebody watch me, And he says, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry." And so he took off, and I got the trailer unhitched just fine. It wasn't that hard. And he came back around actually, and he's like, "Yay, you did it." So that was really sweet. So yeah, I got the trailer off of the car, and I set up my solar panel, and then my next order of business was to get the screen tent up, and I've only set it up once, and the panels are really, really stiff to pull out, and I had to use a lot of upper body strength to get the panels out. And on the very last one, I couldn't get the darn panel to come out. I was practically getting a hernia trying to pull that last one out. So I was like, "Oh, screw it, I'm going to go inside." So I went inside and pushed it out. So you do these workarounds, you make it work for yourself. And so I love this clamshell tent. It's wonderful, by the way. It's keeps you away from the bugs, and it's very cozy in here, and I can sit and eat my food and not be bothered by the bugs. So I love it. So I got that all set up, and the camp host came around several times, three, 4 times within an hour to chat with me. And I don't know, I think it's because I'm alone that people feel like they can chat me up, and that's fine, that's great. And I said, I'm doing my first camping trip. He's like, "Oh, that's so wonderful, that's so great." And I'm, "Thank you." So he left, and I turn around, and at the front of my tent here was all of these ants, like a huge anthill. They weren't there like 15 minutes before, and then suddenly there was this huge anthill at the front door of my screen tent here. And I'm like, "What the heck? What are they after? I have no food in there." And I'm looking around, and I can't see what they're after. I could not find anything, but it was like there were so many of them, and they're right near the entrance of my screen tent here. And I'm like, "Oh no, what am I going to do?" So when the host came around again, I was like, I'm having an ant problem here, and it's right at the entrance of my trailer. Do you happen to have any ant spray? And he says, "No, I'm sorry, I don't." And I was like, "Okay, that's fine. That's all right. I'll figure something out." So I'm thinking, okay, what can I do? Okay, here's a challenge. Victoria, you can figure this out. Okay, what do you got? Oh, I know, sage. So I pulled out my sage, my powdered sage, and I started sprinkling that around. And I had some cardamom, which is that, spice, and I sprinkled that around. Checked back 15 minutes later, and the ants had dissipated. They didn't like that stuff, so I gave them their marching orders. They were going away. They didn't like that sage and that cardamom. And then the host comes back, and he's like, "Oh, I've got some ant spray for you. I was able to get it." And I was like, "Well, thank you. That's so sweet. I don't think I need it now, but I'll take it anyways." He's like, "Sure, you can keep it, And I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet." So yeah, it's being in nature is so interesting, because you just you're dealing with the elements, you're dealing with the bugs. I'm cooking my dinner last night, and I looked down at my steaming broccoli, and there was a big old brown beetle sitting on top of one of the broccoli stems, and I'm like, "Oh no." So I fished him out just in the nick of time and saved his life, and threw the broccoli and flung him into the grass, and it was fine. And then I'm cooking my dinner, and then the mosquitoes come around, and I'm like, "Oh no, they're swarming all around me. Oh God." And I forgot my mosquito spray. Of course, I got to start a list of everything I forgot. I forgot my hand soap and I forgot mosquito spray. And I'm thinking I'm getting bitten alive, no doubt. I just know it. They're all over the place. I'll be itching all night long. But thankfully, last night I was not itching. I haven't really found any spots so far that they bit. So that's good. But it made me realize that I need to probably get a mosquito net to drape over the back of my galley and keep those out while I'm cooking, because I loved cooking outside. It was so fun. What is it about cooking outside and eating outside? I don't know. It's just fabulous. I loved it. But you're dealing with the bugs and stuff, so and I didn't have any wind, so I didn't have to deal with that. I'm going to figure out something with that because the wind can be a problem. I'll have to get a windscreen or something. But thankfully, the weather has just been perfect and there's no wind. And so this is a great first trip so far. I'm really, really happy. And let's see, what else? What else? Oh, my refrigerator. It's working great. At first, I was like, oh, I'm not sure it's working, because I turned it on and it gave me an error message saying that the voltage, there wasn't enough voltage. And I'm like, what does that mean, you know? And I don't have any cell signal here, so I couldn't really check to see what it meant. I checked the battery and I saw that it was only at 60%. And I'm like, oh, maybe the battery's too low, you know? So I had the solar panel out in the late afternoon sun, and between 3 and 7 p.m. it zooped up the battery from 60% to 100%, and then the refrigerator started working just fine. So I'm loving the refrigerator. It's so great not to have to deal with ice, and you know, be able to put that a lot of food in there actually. And so I was worried that overnight that it would, because this is my first time, right? This is all new to me. I'm learning. So I was worried that when I got up in the morning that the battery was going to be really low again, but no, it was at about 85–90%, so that's fabulous. It got down to about 46 degrees last night, so I think it kept it pretty cold on its own. So I'm really excited about that, to have a refrigerator. It's awesome. I love it. So I have a shower, a water tank there, but I decided not to fill it this time around, so I'm having to walk a little far to get to the spigot here, but that's okay. I'm getting my exercise. It's a good thing. This is what I'm loving about camping already, is that I'm just being much more physical. You know, at home I'd be sitting around a lot more, and this is so great. I'm bending, I'm squatting, I'm walking, I'm getting in and out of my car, in and out of the camper. It's just fabulous. And I know, you know, the more I do this, the stronger I'll get. I have some back issues. I have arthritis in my spine, and I just know movement is critical for me. And so one of my hopes of getting out on the road is just being a lot more physical and building up my strength and you know, being able to do all this stuff without having so much pain. So yeah, so it's really, really great. So small victories, medium victories. My name is Victoria after all, so I do need to have some victorious moments and some challenges. But so far I'm overcoming the challenges, and that feels really awesome. You know, it's great to have a issue come up and the fear starts to go up, and you're like, okay, calm down, you can figure it out, and you figure it out, and you're like, yay, I did it, I can do this, I can do this. So far I'm just really loving this. Last night I had to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and I didn't set up my toilet in here, so I had to walk up to the bathroom quite a bit, and I get out of my trailer at 3 a.m. I'm like, yeah, this is kind of scary. And I had my headlamp on, and I'm walking, and I look ahead on the road, and I see two glaring eyes at me, round glaring eyes, and I'm like, well, they're kind of low to the ground, so I think it's just a raccoon, so I didn't panic. So I walked to the bathroom, and I'm like, this is so cold. Eek. This isn't fun. And then I hear, woo, woo, an owl right next to me in a tree, and I'm like, this is so awesome. Would I have this in my home when I'm at home? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't get to hear all these wonderful nature sounds. Here there's birds, I can see woodpeckers, I could hear the geese flying over the water over here and honking, and the owls and the kids playing and the birds and the peacocks. And oh, I'm just appreciating and loving all these nature sounds. It's just wonderful. And this is the reason I want to get out and really enjoy all the beauty that nature has to offer. It's just awesome. I love being amongst the wildlife. Actually, even with the ants last night, I was like, okay, I figured out a natural solution. I don't really want to kill the ants. I just want them to do a U-turn and go back from where they came from. And so I was glad to know that my little trick of the sage worked. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying this. I'm going to be here 2 more nights. I didn't unfortunately sleep that great last night. I was having leg cramps. Oh, the joys of living longer. Your parts start to break down. And so I was having leg cramps, and I wasn't sleeping very well because the mattress, I'm finding out, is too firm for me. It was hurting my hips. It was hurting my back. I was tossing and turning. So I'm hoping I can take a nap later. We'll see. I have my little gravity chair that I brought here. I love this thing. It's so comfortable. And so hopefully I can take a little nap, but I don't know. It's probably going to get pretty noisy. So let me actually show you around my campsite a little bit and show you where I'm at. It's really nice. It's a county park. And actually it's $25 a night, but with the senior discount, it was only $13 a night. So that's a good deal. It's a non-utility site, but that's fine. I want to use all my solar panels and, you know, figure out how that all works. This is, again, all new to me. So, so that was fine. So $13 a night. It's a county park. I feel extremely safe here. And, yeah, when that guy came by and talked to me last night, you know, I felt safe because there was people around. Now, if I was way out in the boonies and some guy came by, I'll be honest, I would feel a little more fear, just because there's nobody around. You know, it's just when you're alone, you feel more vulnerable. So, so it was nice to feel safer yesterday. So, yeah, let's show you around my site a little bit. It's kind of a mess, but I want to show you what I've got going on here. I'm going to turn you around. So here's my little setup in my clamshell. I got the 9-foot one, and I'm really glad that I did because I can fit a lot in here. I was going to do the 6-foot, but I'm really glad I went with the 9-foot. And I'm able to fit my gravity chair and my other chair and some storage, and the toilet's down there, but I haven't set it up yet. And it does have wind panels for privacy if I want them, or to block out the sun. So yeah, I'm really loving this tent. Really glad I got it. And it was a little hard to set up, but I think it'll get easier as I do it. So this is where the ants were congregating for a convention right here. I don't know what they were after because I did not have any food around, but it was millions of them climbing all over each other right here. But my little trick with the sage seemed to do the job, and they made a U-turn and went back to their home, wherever that is. Oh, excuse my messy kitchen. I just made some breakfast. So here's the galley. Got my 2-gallon water. Got some storage up there. And I've got the stove there. And then there's more storage, actually a nice big drawer down below that, where all my pots and pans and other kitchen stuff goes. So that's awesome. And then I have my refrigerator, and I can fit a lot in there. So that's really great to have. I just love it. And it's so fun to cook outside, aside from the mosquitoes and bees. It sure feels great. But yeah, I'm thinking that if I could figure out something to drape over my overhang here, some mosquito netting, that might really help when I'm trying to cook outside here. If you have any ideas of what I could do, I'm open to hearing them. So we move around to the side of the trailer. Like I said, I'm not using the Yakima water tank this time around. And here's my cozy little interior. What I love about this is these windows and this huge window I have here. It's so awesome. Great views, makes me feel like I'm in an open space and not, you know, in a coffin. So that was really important to me, to have a lot of windows. And then I have a nice overhead vent as well with a screen on it. And I had bought myself a monitor, which is, I think, I don't know, 20 inches, maybe not that big. And so I was able to prop it up and watch Netflix on it last night. So it was very cozy. I just loved it. It was so fun. And yeah, I got the car kind of all packed up with my stuff, and I was very pleased that most of everything I had fit in there just fine. So that was great to find out, because my big worry is that I'm not going to have enough room in the car to store everything. But I had plenty of room and then some. There's the solar panel. I'm probably going to readjust that. It has a nice long cable on it, so I can put it pretty far. And I have my camping shoes. They're Crocs. I never quite understood why people get the ones with the holes, because every time I've worn shoes with holes in them, I get rocks and dirt and sand in there. So I decided to buy the Crocs with no holes, and I love those. So far, so good. And I'm really loving all this greenery. It was just such a beautiful drive here to get here. And, you know, the whole experience so far has just been so awesome. And it's fun to see families and people enjoying themselves. There were people out here yesterday afternoon canoeing on this lake and paddleboarding, and so it's really great to see people, and they're fishing as well. It's so great to see all the water in California, because we had a nice wet winter. So the flowers are blooming, and it's just beautiful. I'm loving it. Oh, the other thing I was hearing yesterday was cows over there on the other side. I could hear cows, peacocks, woodpeckers. It's so great. So there's a nice trail that hikes around this park here, and I'm gonna go for a walk now and enjoy this morning, and hopefully get my stuff organized a little bit better today, and maybe I can take a little nap since I didn't sleep very well last night. Well, thanks for watching my video and joining me on my journey here to see if I can become a full-time teardrop nomad. I really appreciate you. All right, till next time. Bye for now.